Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lori, and I want to talk to you about finding out who you are. Promise you, there's like so many podcasts coming down the road for you on this, but I just wanted to give you kind of a good way to wrap up the week. It doesn't matter when you're watching this. I'm wrapping it up at the end of my week, so I wanted to jump on and talk to you about it because so many people don't know who they are. And you've started to identify yourself based on your successes, your education, your children, your money, your accolades, all are great things, by the way. All of those things are great, but it should not be your identity. Okay, so yes, you being a mother or a doctor or a teacher, beautiful. I love that. And it's amazing, but it's not who you are. That's what you do. So to first learn who you are, and again, I promise I'll go a lot deeper in a podcast on this, but I want to give you, like I said, an overview so you can kind of start the process, right? Because this isn't a process that you're just going to be like, now I know who I am. No, this is going to take some unlearning. So in order to learn who you are, you have to unlearn who you are not, right? And so this goes into a lot of things. So I've said this before, but I feel like it's really good to repeat it again on this video. I've said it in other videos is, when you're born on this planet, you're like been in this world like 5 seconds. You're given a name. A lot of times you're given a name. Sometimes you have those names before you're even like on the planet, right? You're just in utero. You're given a name, a religious affiliation, a political affiliation, the way you do things, certain levels of expectation. Like you've been here like 5 seconds. You're like, oh, wow, okay. And now you have all of these big sort of expectations put on you, and you don't even know what that looks like. And so it's about unlearning. I did a podcast on religious trauma. You might want to go check that out on the podcast too. And it actually goes over here to YouTube as well. But I did it a while back. And it's if you subscribe to what you're taught, then by all means, continue it. Continue it. That means that you vibe with it and that you subscribe to it. So good, do that. But if you constantly feel like, I don't know who I am, like I feel like I'm always like just getting up and making the donuts and going home. Like I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I'm just kind of numb. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just can't figure out who you are. And by the way, you're never too old. It's never too early. It's never too late, right? Age is fake, right? It's something that we do here because like we have time, but time's fake, right? It's linear. It only exists right now anyway. And so you have to ask yourself, do you subscribe to how you were raised? And like I said, if you do and it blends well for you, amazing. I think a big issue that people have is when people say family is everything. No, they are not. No, they are not. Yes, family is important. Love your family. I think it's amazing, but they can't be your everything because you're going to put your life on hold and you're going to constantly be trying to please people who they haven't even healed their own traumas. So because they haven't healed their own traumas, they're going to inflict this stuff upon you. And then you're going, oh my God, well, I guess I got to put up with this because it's my mom or my sister or my brother or my grandfather. You don't. And I think that's the first thing is understanding that when you start feeling guilty about all of that, right? When you start feeling guilty about that, that isn't even your voice. That's another voice from somebody. Now you might hear it in your tone. You've adopted it, right? So because how would you know it? Right? You wouldn't know it. It doesn't just happen. Either you were told it, you experienced it, you were told not to do something. Yeah, I've said this before, like I'm 51, almost 52. So it's like, I grew up in the time of like speak only when spoken to, don't do as I do as I say, like super hypocritical, like just the list could go on and on and on. And it's when you start saying, well, this is just who I am, that becomes a problem too. So if you say, well, this is how I've been for the last 65 years of my life, okay, that's great, but you're here now. So to say that's how I am, or that's how I was raised, we know that that's a reason. But if you hang your hat on that, then that's you not willing to take the effort and make the effort to sometimes distance. And see, that's the thing, to unlearn is to really, I think one of the best things that have probably ever happened to me was starting to work with people all over the world. I work with people of all religions, of all colors, of all shapes, of like everything. And so to learn so much more, right? Because I'm in the States here, but you might be watching in another country. And to learn how people do things in another country, whether I like it, don't like it, agree with it, don't agree with it, I'm fine to hear it. I want to see it with my own eyes. I don't need you to tell me, hey, don't do as the people in this place do. Why? I'll figure that out for myself. Okay. And I think one of the best things I ever did was like work with people in different religions and different ways of practicing life. It has literally opened my eyes up. It's like I took blinders off. When you are caught up in only seeing things myopically in your, like how you see it, okay, and you're not willing, I'm not saying you have to change it, you have to subscribe to everybody else, but hear it without judgment. Hear it without waiting to respond. Hear it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. But understand that when people are raised in a different way, or even in a different country, a different religion, anything like that, they're not wrong. Yeah, they're not. Like, that's just how they were raised. So, like, and yes, that's not an excuse. That's how they were raised. So now they too, not in all countries, they don't have the freedom to do this. But in our country, we do have the freedom to do this, where you can literally say, I don't like that. Like, I don't think I want to do that anymore. The issue comes if you're dealing with codependency, if you're dealing in enmeshment, if you are still not healing your traumas, if you're living in a victim mentality, because then you're just like, well, I don't want to like be without these people. So then you have to ask yourself, why do you want people in your life that really aren't serving you? Meaning like it's not helping you grow. I don't care if it's your mom. I don't care if it's your sister. I don't care who it is. Why would you rather have somebody in your life that isn't moving the needle for you versus not having them in your life and saying, oh my God, I'm going to feel lonely? That's okay. That's all right. You need to sometimes feel lonely. You need to sometimes be alone. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Right? Stop putting the expectation that somebody has to change because you've changed, and stop thinking that because you've changed, everybody has to understand you're changing. They don't. They're not going to like it. Not everybody's going to like it. Some people aren't ready to change. Some people will never change. Some people will never want to see things past how they see them. And then that might be you. And that's going to lead to a very isolated life and very codependent and very entitled. It just comes with a long list of things that are not productive. So I want you to ask yourself, who are you? But first say, who am I not? Right? To say, what do I like? Like if I say, hey, what do you like to do? And you're like, I don't really know. Well, what do you not like doing? Don't say, oh, I like going to work. Hobby wise. If you're like, well, it's not that I don't like it. I'm just like, say you're like, I can't play football. Okay, well, we know that you're not going to be a football player. Cool. But you have to be honest with yourself. Not who does your mom want you to be, not who does society want you to be, not every other 27-year-old that you know is married and got their profession and you're not behind anybody. That's some weird false narrative you keep telling yourself. So you have to ask yourself, who are you not? And why do you want to blend in? Like, it's not just about growing up, getting married, having 2.5 kids, and then going on with your life. That's not all life is. Now, in the 50s, 40s, 30s, yes, it was, because there wasn't a lot of options and people didn't have all of that put into play. But you have them now. So if you're not willing to release the family and release these expectations, you will stay stuck. And I am doing a podcast on that. And, I think it's important for you to hear that. And it's important for you to know that, because you say you want to heal, you say you want to grow, you say you want to know who you are, but then you're not willing to embrace the unknown. You will never be able to fully be at peace and within yourself until you can embrace the unknown and accept that some of those people may not be on your journey. It might not be your mom. It might not be your children. It might not be your coworker. It might not be the job you've had for 35 years. Just because that's what you've known doesn't mean that that's the healthiest for you. And that's why you really want to start asking yourself, who are you not? Who are you not? It's not supposed to be an overnight process. This might be something you do for the rest of your life. But that's how we start to get to know who we are. And that's exactly how you start to embrace who you are. You start to love all of you, even if other people don't understand it. You never, ever, ever sacrifice your peace for somebody else's comfort because they don't understand where you are in your growth, but you also don't judge them for that. You don't get to be like, well, why are they staying stuck? Why are you in their business? Hard pass. Need you to filter that back. I need you to roll that back, okay? Seriously. That's not going to serve your best and highest good. And to spend all that energy worrying about somebody's why and why they're doing things and all of these things, it's only hurting you. So start figuring out who you are not. And yeah, it can be scary. It can be isolating. It can be lonely. But you have to go through that fire in order to get to the other side of that. Right? If things were easy, everybody would do it. It's not supposed to be easy. That is the growth, is the journey. It's not the destination. Destination's great, but that's not everything that it needs to be. So that is what I want you to start on, and figuring out who the hell you are.